What's up everyone, it's Victor and I just picked up the brand new 2020 iMac to replace my 13-inch MacBook Pro, and I gotta say, man, this thing is awesome. It's my new editing machine and I do not regret buying it whatsoever. My old MacBook was just starting to really show some wear and it was really time to get rid of it, so I went ahead and picked up the brand new 2020 iMac. Now, of course, with the title of this video, I wanted to ask, can I game on it? And actually, the answer is both yes and no. Let me explain. When I ordered this iMac, I didn't just go and run off and buy the base model. Instead, I upgraded a few of the specs as shown here. Now, most notably, I upgraded the GPU to a Radeon Pro 5500 XT with 8GB of GDDR6 memory. An iMac configured with this graphics card starts at around $2,300, so keep that in mind. Now, let's go over the yes part of my answer first. Yes, the iMac can game if it's set to run Windows through Apple's free software called Bootcamp, which will allow you to partition a portion of your drive to dual boot into Windows. Now, I'm not much of a gamer. I really only wanted to be able to play Overwatch, as it is one of my most favorite games. Thankfully, it is able to do just that. Even when scaled to 1440p, I can run the game at epic settings. However, this does cause the GPU to ramp up a lot and make the fan run at high speeds. So I play the game at 1080 on ultra settings just so that it can run more comfortably. However, I do notice that every so often, the game does tend to freeze for a few seconds. I'm not sure why, as it appears to happen no matter what settings I'm using, and obviously the game can't run at IMAX 5K native resolution. So in case you're wondering, it can't. So you will need to change the resolution settings in Windows in order for your games to function and run properly. I also played some Dead by Daylight just to see how well it would run, and it's also able to handle it pretty well. Sadly, when set to its highest graphics settings, I noticed that the game can appear a bit choppy, which is horrible, especially when it comes to doing the skill checks in the game. I was able to play the game more comfortably though when I adjusted the graphics settings a bit. However, I think I'll stick to just playing this game on PlayStation. Now, I also mentioned that you can't really play games on this new iMac, and what I mean by that is there are a few AAA games available on Mac at this time. That's why I had to set up Bootcamp on my Mac just so that I can have Windows run natively on the system so that the games can run optimized. However, I do have Parallels, which is a virtual machine software that allows you to run different operating systems on your Mac simultaneously. I currently have Parallels 15, which claims to have DirectX 11 support via Apple's Metal API. However, I don't think this is even enough to run any of the games. Even with all the settings set in my virtual machines to be optimized for gaming, the iMac has a really hard time running Overwatch. I've tried over and over again testing different resolutions and graphic settings, and I could still not get the game to run properly, even though the game could run comfortably on Windows natively. With that being said, there are also a few headaches with even just trying to get games to run within a virtual machine in the first place. The first being is that you need to set your keyboard and mouse to run only on your Windows VM, just so that your peripherals will be optimized for gaming. If you don't, you'll run into some weird problems where the cursor just freaks out for no reason. You also need a second pair of peripherals just to be able to help navigate your way out of the VM if you ever needed to, without having to shut down the VM, which kind of defeats the purpose of even being able to run the VM in the first place. Because with Bootcamp, of course, if you want to switch back to Mac, you're going to have to completely restart the entire computer all over again, and it'll boot right into the Mac drive. So here are my thoughts about gaming on the new iMac. I obviously didn't buy this Mac for gaming. Otherwise, I would have just bought a PC for a fraction of the cost. I bought this Mac to be my new editing machine, but I am happy that it is able to play some games, at least decently. In hindsight, I probably should have went all in and purchased the 5700 XT graphics option for $500 more. However, that's not really necessary for all of my computing needs, and I mainly play on console anyway. But if you're in the market for a new editing rig that can also be a gaming machine on the side, then that will be something you may want to consider. I would also consider upgrading the internal storage to 2 terabytes as well, as you will need as much storage as possible to store as many games as you'd like. Although it is possible to run Windows off of an external drive, doing so requires you to disable some protective settings, so I wouldn't highly recommend it, but it is an option. If you want to find out how to do that though, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description so that way you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. With that being said, that'll wrap up this video. Leave me a like if you like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know in the comments what you think about gaming on an iMac. Is it even worth it? Probably not. Also, what about the future of gaming on Macs in general? I mean, this could be the very last Intel Mac that we ever see once Apple starts releasing their own Silicon Macs. Anyways, that'll be it for me. Thank you guys. See you in the next one.